So right after a couple of former, numerous endurance tests on MOT, I finally have my UMBRAL INAROS build, a build which I honestly think is better than the normal INAROS tank build. So, if you have a couple of minutes to spare, then lend me your eyes and ears, as I walk you through on how I mod my UMBRAL INAROS, and why I consider it as a great overall build for this awesome Warframe. So let's head straight to my mod setup. Now at first, I did try racking up INAROS health to maximum by putting all the health mods I have at the moment, and, to no surprise, INAROS health did go beyond 8k, which is pretty good if you have a max out Arcane Grace with you, as probably, you'll have more health regeneration this way. However, I find it less effective in high level endurance runs. I mean, yes, the amount of health regen is pretty big, but that won't suffice my needs as enemies hit like a truck when their levels go beyond 100 plus, and I did consider that everyone has no max out Arcane Grace on their arsenal, so I decided to trim a bit of health and added some useful mods in the mix. I added overextended and stretch so I will have more range for my INAROS. Why did I settle for a lot of range, you ask? It's because 1, I want to use his desiccation ability as a form of CC, 2, I need Devour to have lots of range so I can easily pull enemies and grab some health while staying invincible at the same time, and 3, the most important part, I want to have as much range for my Scarab Swarm to both have good CC, and good range for its heal radius. Now I know desiccation can heal INAROS. I also know the fact that Devour can heal me, but Scarab Swarm is quite different, and somehow, I find it more reliable than these two abilities. Desiccation is great in giving back your lost health, but there's a condition: you need to kill the enemy so you can get some health back. And, I know not all of you will use a covert lethality dagger to play with INAROS. Most of you will probably use different types of weapons and not stick with just a meta weapon. Also, Devour is great in giving lost health, but it will definitely make you vulnerable once you decided to deactivate this ability. Unlike these two abilities, Scarab Swarm gives you bonus armor, a way to CC enemies, and as well as to regenerate your lost health back without any constraint. Not to mention that allies can also benefit from the health regeneration from your Scarab Swarm. There's also a neat trick that you can do with this ability, and that is when you have Scarab armor on your INAROS, then you decided to go through those nullifier bubbles, it will then restore some of your health. 100% Scarab armor does give you back 2900 health, while you get 725 health back when you have at least 25% charge on your Scarab armor. Before we get back to my mod setup, I would just like to clarify some things about the Scarab armor so you can properly utilize it on the field. Now if you check out its description, there's no value on how much armor or how much heal does this ability gives. After some research, I find out that Scarab armor gives 400 armor to INAROS and it's not affected by ability strength. So, this is the most armor you can get from the Scarab armor, nothing more, nothing less. For the healing part, the amount of damage that this ability deals to the enemies, is the amount of heal given to INAROS and your allies. Since the damage of this ability is affected by ability strength, this means that the more damage you have, the more health regen you will get. However, you also have to take note that the damage dealt by this ability is also negated by armor. Enemy armors play a big role in lowering the damage dealt by this ability, which in return, lowering the amount of heal you get. It may not be a problem in paper, as this ability does deal corrosive damage, but in real mission, this ability is not really reliable when it comes to stripping enemy armors. It's best that you have some weapons to strip armors to help you out get more regen from this ability, which is why I choose to have a lot of range, so I can affect a bunch of enemies without worrying about staying on one place just to get the heal regen from this ability. By the way, this ability does need 25% charge so you can release your Scarab armor, and it does need some energy also. In addition, this ability does spread to nearby enemies, but the spread is not affected by any range mods. So I hope that clarifies some things about INAROS being a tank. He's similar to Oberon and other tank Warframes who basically relies on their EHP to survive, which is why I choose to have this mod set up. Not only does it gives you tons of EHP, but it also grants you more survivability due to the fact that you can utilize almost every abilities of INAROS. The only ability he can't use really well with this build is his Sandstorm, as it needs tons of energy to maintain it, but as an overall tank build, this is really solid and I highly suggest that you try it for yourself. Before we head to the outro of this video, I would just like to say that you can replace the aura slot with steel charge not just to increase your melee damage, but also to increase your mod capacity. If you do so, then you will have the option to add primed continuity for more duration on your scarab armor and desiccation. And also, you can add hunter adrenaline so you will gain some more energy when enemies hit you. It also gives more synergy with your pet when you decide to use the Adaza Cavat. Talking about this gritty cat, it's really a good option to have Adaza as your companion, as Inaros makes her tanky, which in return allows you to utilize her critical buff really well. If you want to use the Adaza Cavat with Inaros by any chance, then I suggest that you try out these mods on her. Now Pack Leader is really a good mod, especially when you decide to go with the melee setup for Inaros, as it heals your pet for a portion of your damage dealt to the enemies, while the Hunter Recovery mod does heal you whenever your pet attacks an enemy. It may not be as reliable as your abilities, but it does help sometimes. So that's it. That's how I umbrafied my Inaros. I hope that you have learned something again from this video, especially about how to be a tank Inaros. I hope to see you on my next video. Like always, please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy watching it and find it informative. Also, you can subscribe to our channel if you want to see more Warframe videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.